Nick is my youngest son. We have two. He was an amazing kid, is an amazing kid. I don't like to talk about him in the past. From the moment he was born at 9 pounds, 15 ounces, we knew, I knew he was special. But he, at 3, he told us he was going to be the president. At 4, he told us that one day everyone would know his name. And he wanted to be in politics. He loved geography. He loved volunteering, truly, especially at church, because when you're a kid, that's where you do that, right? It's where you learn. He loved Friends reruns, Voss Water. I don't know why, but Voss Water. He loved playing Jeopardy, challenging his dad to those questions. And he had a lot of friends. I don't think that kid knew a stranger. He really loved life.
He played sports?
He did. He played, he tried everything when he was smaller. And then what stuck was volleyball, but he didn't get to play because of COVID. But what mainly stuck was soccer, and he was a goalkeeper. When Nick was going on a school trip to DC, he wanted to get a school ID because he wanted to be in politics. He wanted to be the president, right?
Yeah.
And even if he couldn't be the president, he knew he wanted to be in politics one day. Or run someone's campaign is what he started to change his mind and say later. And he said when he goes on this trip to DC, he needed to get a federal ID, a federally approved ID, because on the off chance he could get into a federal building, Mom, I have to have this ID.
Oh, wow.
And we said, you're on a school trip. You don't have time to go into like the White House or the Capitol or whatever, but just on the off chance. And so Dad was like, okay, we'll take you. You can get because he wasn't quite ready to get his temps, but really close. We said, okay, you can get your state ID. They're going to ask you this question. Do you want to be an organ or tissue donor? And Nick said, well, what's the family answer? And we said to him, oh, there's not a family answer. It's like your political party, because that related to him.
Yeah.
We said, you decide.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, I'm going to need a day or so. I've got to research that. And then he came back to us and he said, okay, I'm ready. We said, well, what's your answer? And he's like, I'm going to say yes. And he literally said, because only 1% of us die in the way, that you can actually donate any of your organs. And that's how I knew he really did think about it. And then it wasn't long after that Nick died in a way in which he could donate his organs. He donated 7 of the 8 that you can donate. And he also donated tissue and his corneas. So Nick saved 5 people with 7 organs and improved the lives of about 75 others.
Wow. Have you heard from any of them?
His heart recipient, who is from Michigan. And then we also heard from 2 tissue recipients, both men, one who was able to run his 12th Boston Marathon because of Nick, and the other one who said because of your family member, your loved one, I'm able to get down on the ground again and play with my kids. Both of those things Nick would love. But a blood drive and donating blood, even if you're afraid of needles, it's not that bad. It doesn't take that much time. It's actually pretty quick, and you get cool swag most of the time. So we started doing that because we figured at 15 and a half, if Nick decided that he was willing to be an organ donor, he would have certainly donated blood at 16. And we started hosting it because we were looking for a way for his birthday, which is in December, to how do you celebrate your son's birthday when he's no longer here? How do you do that and honor him, but also do it in a way that, we're not seeking anything except for him to be remembered, and also to perpetuate what Nick foresaw. I have this paper that Nick wrote as a freshman, and in this paper he said that his entire life goal was to retire a happy man. That was his life's goal. He thought he would do that by using his his purpose and talents, and by serving the people and doing good for the world. That's what he was going to do, whatever that meant. And so my husband and I, we are like, so how can we celebrate his birthday and honor what Nick's purpose was? You hold a blood drive, and at the same time, we encourage people to consider becoming an organ donor. We did Hoodie Up for Nick. For his school has a program, Taylor High School, or Taylor Three Rivers has a program called Jacket Cares, and that's for any child in the school district. They provide all kinds of things, all kinds of different care. And I asked them last year, what could they use? And they said something when it gets colder, like jackets or and they were saying hats or gloves. And I was like, okay, but what about hoodies? Because my kids would never wear a jacket or gloves or hats. And the guidance counselors said, yes, hoodies would be perfect. Nick said when he was 4, everyone's going to know his name. He can't do that, so I'll help him do that, because you can't. It's not a bad thing to do good for the people and serve people and do good for the world. You can't go wrong with either one of those. But everything else about that kid was very like, just try it. You're going to love it. And that's what I want. I want to keep that message about him alive.